You're watching Laketoria Nights, a show where three friends talk about entertainment stuff like movies, TV shows, video games, and everything in between. Today we're going to be talking about Dynasty Warriors. I guess I should introduce all the members of the show now since you're no longer a guest. So
That's right.
Yeah. So what would you be a co-host? How does that usually work? Is it co-host?
I think co-host.
Yeah, I think we'd all be co-hosts.
So our first co-host would be CJ.
Wow, the fake out. You looked right at me.
And then our second co-host would be Andy. Hey, say hi, Andy.
Hey, guys.
Hey, CJ, did you say hi? No.
Well, no, I didn't.
Okay, anyway, and then there's me, Kevin.
The moment's passed.
The moment's gone.
Hi, everybody.
Today we were going to talk about Dynasty Warriors, basically our memories and our impressions of Dynasty Warriors 9. I'll have CJ start off on this one about, I guess, your fondest memories of Dynasty Warriors.
My fondest memory would be the first time I ever played it. I remember sitting down in our basement at Grandma and Grandpa's house. You were at work, no one was around to hanging out with. So I went through your PlayStation games and found Dynasty Warriors 2. And I was like, yeah, I'll try this. So I popped it in and never looked back. And it was one of the most exciting games I have ever played, at that time. And I was just so enamored with it. I remember talking to you about it, and you were like, yeah, okay, whatever, who cares? But that was because you were a moody diva back then.
I wasn't a moody diva back then. All I'm saying is that game was old news. That's all I'm saying. You were late to the party.
It was new to
That's
me.
all it was to it.
It's new to me. But yeah, I would have to say that was my fondest memory. Would be the first time I played it.
Oh. So then who was the character you played? Do you remember?
It was probably Jahoudun, wasn't it?
Probably, I would think, yeah.
Because I know he was one of your favorite characters.
Yeah, he had an eye patch, and I thought that just were cool.
It's just in.
But to be fair, I think his moveset was the easiest to use out of everybody's because he had such range with that. But I'm trying to think of another character that had more range than he did.
Guan Yu.
Oh yeah, but he was huge though. So
yeah. But he had the pole arm, and they were all sweeping attacks, so it was really hard to mess up.
No. Alright, yeah, I guess you're right. So what was your fondest Dynasty Warrior moment?
I think my favorite overall moment is always going to be the cutscene in the Battle of Chibi with Huang Gai, because there's so much setup that goes into that dumb bit where Zhuge Liang's like, the wind blows, and then immediately afterwards it's all on Huang Gai to set a fucking boat on fire and ram it into Cao Cao's entire navy.
Wait, I think I remember that battle. No, don't you have to do something to pray or do the prayer before? And if you don't do it, it just falls apart and you have to do the whole battle?
Yeah, well, what it is in that fight, if I remember correctly, Zhuge Liang, or Wu calls in a favor with Zhuge Liang, because Zhuge Liang is a Shu tactician.
Right.
And so they call in this favor, and they're like, hey, we know that you've got, the whole wind thing going on. We need your help. We know the Wei army is as big a problem for you as it is for us. So do us a solid. Get your wind mojo going. And what you have to do is you have to protect him at the shrine while Cao Cao's trying to send, a contingent of his own troops to go and stop Zhuge Liang from being able to pull that off. And so if you do that, the wind changes direction, and so you can actually sail into Cao Cao's armada. And that's when Huang Gai lights his fucking boat on fire and rams into that guy. And then he just dives off later, I'm out.
The best part of that though is if you fail, Zhuge Liang is just I guess there's no wind today, and then just runs away.
Yeah. Everything about that battle, from everything that's good about it to all the things that can go wrong, are great. My favorite one, the reason I like that scene so much is I forget which game it was. I want to say it was 7 or 8 maybe.
Right.
When they changed everybody's weapons and they gave them the EX moves, Huang Gai had a boat as a weapon.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm pretty sure in that version of the cutscene, I'm probably misremembering this, but in my mind palace, Huang Gai rides away on his little boat that he uses to beat people down with.
Whoa, like he throws another boat, he jumps off and uses his boat to pedal off. No, it wasn't his original weapon like bombs or something? Didn't he like to throw grenades into the crowd and crap? That guy used to annoy the fuck out of me all the time. Every time I fought with him, I think he's killed me like twice, and he was my part. Like I was fighting on his side, and I remember him killing me once or twice.
Huang Gai actually isn't my favorite character.
Oh, okay.
I just really like that cutscene because it's always been hilarious to me that he's like, yeah, now we're cooking with fire, and then like dives off into the water or whatever. Like later.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I said fondest moment, so that's fine. I think my fondest moment was actually in Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires, where you could make your own character and set things up. And I'll be the first to admit it, I have a problem because I have over 32 created characters. I'll create like these.
All of them up.
Yeah, too. I did. All of them were. Oh my god, it was so awesome. But anyway. I put myself in a situation because there was, I think in 5, you couldn't move everybody from one place to another. So if you wanted to invade one place to another place, you had to have the people in that one area. Yeah. And I think at one point I spread myself out so thin that I had one guy and 1,000 troops. And I remember I had like this giant army, the capital was right there, and they're like, we're going to invade. And my smart money would have been, don't participate in the battle, just let it go. And I was like, no, I'm going to do this. So I had my character named Kenneth, who had this giant sword, and I took that army on by myself. That fight took, I nearly ran out the clock. That's how bad it was. I was like, nope, I'm not going to die. I'm going to do this. I'm going to win.
You probably racked up like a 3,000 or 4,000 man KO count at that point.
I think I only got to 2,000 at that point, but I was like, I'm going to wait this out. But he jumped a lot of levels though. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to put so many people here because I was afraid they were going to take over and take him. And I can't remember if you could kill characters yet or not in 5.
I think you could.
But I was too afraid that he'd be taken away and killed because he was my created character. And I'm like, no. It was so I was scared. But yes, that was my favorite moment because I think I had 1,000 and I was going up against 15,000 invading. I can do this.
We got this, Kevin.
Yeah, we got this. Oh no. If there was like people that are in my army looking at me right now like, who the hell is this guy? Why are we doing this? We should be retreating now. Like, no, we must go. And everyone died. It was just me that was left, and because I kept killing all the worthy opponents, they couldn't take over my base, and I'm like, no. But yeah, that's
you shall not pass.
That's my fond memory of Dynasty Warriors. I know. I mean, it's been. I guess. Well, what was it? I still have Dynasty Warriors. I think I love the Empire series over all the other ones.
I mean, the Empire ones, they just add so much to the game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I'm curious, who's your favorite non-created character?
Oh, that is... I'm not sure. I did like... I think it's Liu Bei. I think I like Liu Bei the best. And I think it's because I really like the Shu Kingdom a lot. I think in Dynasty... Yeah, but shut up. Anyway. All I'm saying is, I'm pretty sure that in Dynasty Warriors 6, they gave him 2 swords. In the past, in the created characters, I always gave him 2 swords. When I found out Liu Bei had 2 swords, I'm like, okay, me and him are cool. We're doing this.
We're tight now.
Yeah, this is how it is. This is how we're doing things now. So I'd have to say Liu Bei would be my favorite character.
Nice.
Who's yours?
Older versions of the game, it was always Yotai.
Right.
He was like my go-to because he was one of the better characters to take on the higher difficulties with.
Right.
Like when you got into like hardcore mode or whatever, because he had really strong air combos.
Right.
In terms of characters that I like both historically and in Dynasty Warriors, Dung Ai is probably my favorite.
Okay.
From the Jin army. When I forget which game they introduced that army in.
I'm pretty sure that was 6.
6 or
I
7?
think it was 6 when they introduced them.
So yeah, he's my favorite. He's basically like Chinese Chuck Norris.
Oh, there you go. How about you, CJ? Who's your favorite?
I have 3 favorite characters because these are the 3 that I would mainly go back to.
It's Lu Bu. Okay.
Yes, one of them is Lu Bu. I like total destruction and chaos and just destroying everything and not needing like a big army with me. I just want like 2 officers and then I want to take on the rest of everyone. and that's what you get with Lubu.
Who's CJ?
I think my favorite was in Dynasty Warriors Strike Force when I got Super Saiyan Lubu. But we'll go back to that later.
Forgot about that.
Oh,
That
man.
was like, now I'm better than before.
That was a mistake.
I've ascended to a new level of godhood. The legendary Super Boo.
My other two would be Zhao Yu of the Wu faction and Sun Ce.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Okay, yeah.
I forgot. He used Tonfas.
Yep, those would be my three favorites.
Okay, any reason why? I mean, you gave us a reason why Lubu, but any reason for the other two?
I think it happened by chance because red's my favorite color, so
Right.
I always went with Wu. They were the first like two characters available that you could be before you unlocked anyone else.
So you just leveled them up, and then you were like, "These are my favorite characters now."
Pretty much. So I was like, I could go back and be a level 1, but I'm a level 30 over here.
Fear my power.
Like, I would get Lubu to like a level 50, and then I'd go to like every free mode level and impose my will on whatever side I felt like, And there's times where I'd be like, you know what? I think the Imperial Army is getting a little bit too big for itself. And you know what? These yellow turbans, they're not doing anything too bad, so I'm gonna help them out. And I'm taking on everybody.
I always wanted to see what a yellow turban China would have looked like.
Oh my god, you were terrible. Why?
Also, history with
actually
Lubu.
came out with the scenarios for
Where they gave you the
was...
giant what ifs going, what if the yellow turban won? You're like, I feel dirty just playing this.
I always just hated it because then it was like I had to listen to what's his face prattle on even more.
That ugly face guy.
Yeah.
He's like in every time. I can't even remember his name, but like I swear, every game he just gets uglier and uglier or wilder. And at one point he just became bald. I'm like, I don't remember him ever being bald,
Look,
but he had
Kevin,
like a weird mane thing going on.
A lot
Talking
happened.
about Zhang Jiao,
like,
the yellow turban leader.
Wait, who?
I think his name is like Zhang Jiao.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, him.
Zhang, I think
You
Zhang
should
now.
see him in the new Dynasty Warriors where he has the world's ultimate pompadour.
What? Oh, now you got me excited.
Okay, wait. Then let's move on to the next part of our section then of
He's
talking
still
about
just as annoying though.
I have
Dynasty
favorite
Warriors.
character.
Don't know. We're talking about Dynasty Warriors 9 now, the new game that came out a couple weeks ago. Well, go ahead, CJ, since you've already jumped into that. Tell us about Dynasty. I mean, I played the game too, but go ahead. Give me your thoughts and feelings on Dynasty Warriors 9.
I think that really just summed it up.
It's like it was quiet for that long. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Okay, the best way I can put it is, if you've played Dynasty Warriors 1 through 8, and you're happy with that, you ain't gonna like Dynasty Warriors 9. But, saying that, and I'll keep it brief so everyone can get their opinion in. After playing it all day today, prepping for this episode, I found a lot more things that I like about it, and I was ready to come into this show and tear it a new one, give it like a D+. I would give this game like a C.
F for effort.
A C?
A C. Only because if you play through story mode, as long and as daunting as it is, you get a lot of good story tidbits if you could muddle through the very bad voiceovers. Like in this game, you see aspects of the story that you never saw before in Dynasty Warriors, like Sun Jian dying and how he actually died. everyone who's played any Dynasty Warriors dies.
How dare you play 9 without playing any of the other?
Every time we've ever done anything about a video game so far, we've always just dropped spoilers pretty much immediately without warning anybody.
Spoilers, Sun Jian dies, and you get to, you see how it happens. And it takes the Dynasty Warriors stories that you already know, but it gives way more depth if you actually play through the story mode. Like, everything you knew about Dale Chan and Lubu, it's flipped on its head in this game.
Okay, I haven't gotten that. I'm still on the first battle, going through, doing every little thing there is possible. Now, I know that Lubu's story has always been he's always kind of been like the evil big bad in almost every game, but when you actually read the stories of Romance of the Three Kingdoms, it always seems like he's just this big meathead who was just kind of there and was like, he was kind of manipulated into doing things. Now, do they do that in that one?
Yeah, they definitely do, but they expound upon it more. We actually see Lu Bu's father in the game.
Oh, wow.
DL Chan is not so much his love interest in this game.
Okay.
You actually get to play as his daughter in this game as well.
Oh,
That's cool.
So he's a more well-rounded character, and his story gives you more depth to like why he is the way he is, and why he doesn't care about anything, and like what his true intentions are. So I mean, you get way more depth with him, and I feel like with every other character, because every story mode is told from their perspective, it doesn't just fall in line with battle per battle per battle. Like every cutscene is different per character, so you get more depth with every single character.
Is Lu Bu's final stage battle at Hulong Gate?
No, he doesn't die at Hulong Gate.
What was his final battle? I thought he got kidnapped at
No,
Hulong
because
Gate.
Hulao Gate is usually the final battle for Dong Zhuo, not...
Yeah, and what happens is Lu Bu kills Dong Zhuo after
Yeah.
Hulong Gate.
Hulao Gate is... Normally that was like, you tried to avoid Lu Bu because they made him more powerful than he needed to be at that like point in the game. And you were supposed to get through and get to Dong Zhuo without Dong Zhuo escaping.
Oh, okay. That's
So if
right.
you're
Yeah, I think I
playing-
had that backwards.
If you're playing
yeah.
Lu Bu's scenario, you obviously succeed.
Right.
Because it's being told from Lu Bu's.
But even if
point.
you play Hulao Gate with another character in this game, Dong Zhuo still escapes because in actual history, Dong Zhuo does escape Hulao
Oh
Gate,
yeah, I know.
and but they follow every story. Instead of giving you an alternate history, they give you the exact history,
Okay,
but
that's
then
cool.
just told from someone else's perspective, like what happens after Hulao Gate for this specific person,
Right.
and so on and so forth. And they stuck really true in line, because as I was reading, because I looked it up a little bit, some history of Lu Bu,
Yeah.
Diao Chan more or less manipulates him
Okay. Yeah.
into
Mhm.
killing
That's-
Dong Zhuo. But
right.
they weren't as much a love interest as it was portrayed in earlier Dynasty Warriors.
Well, there's no real history of her actually existing. Like, they don't know if she actually
Exactly.
existed or not.
Yeah.
Exactly, but more or less when she's told in the story,
Mhm.
they're not so much a love interest as it was she manipulated him to kill Dong Zhuo.
No, do you guys remember the Dynasty Warriors where she came off as a villain? Because I think it's like 4 or 5 where she was actually a villain.
I thought it was 3 or 4.
Was it?
I can't remember.
See, there's
but
been
yeah.
so many, I can't remember, but I remember
Well,
she was
I mean,
actually...
not even just so many. Like, how many years has it been since like Dynasty Warriors 4 came out? It's been
Right.
at least
Right.
like 10 years.
But I just remember, I think it was 6, because I think 6 kind of redid everything when they redid their
'cause
weapons.
That was when they brought out Jin.
Yeah.
And they introduced a whole new cast of characters. They redid a bunch of weapons. And I believe, was that when they put the EX mode? Or the EX
I think
moves?
the EX moves were set there, and they had like a new leveling system. I think they changed up a lot of things in
Yeah.
6, and I just remember playing her story, and she came off as such a. I'm trying to think of the right words to say without dependent. She became very dependent on everybody, and unlike in the other ones when she was just like, I'm gonna have my way and this is how I'm doing it. She was just like, my father died and now I'm only doing this for his honor, and now I'm going to help these random people out because it's what's right, and these people are bad. And I'm like, I don't remember you being that way.
One thing else I'll say I love about this game is the story mode takes you up to when that character that you are dies
Okay.
in the timeline, so you don't
I
get
also
anything
like that.
after. Like if a certain character doesn't make it to the Battle of Chibi, you get to that battle before they die, and then they tell you like, after this battle, da 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 da, and they do like a little prologue for you, and then that's it.
Okay, so how many characters have you played so far in the game? Like I said, I've only played one character.
I've only finished it with Lu Bu, but I have probably 4 characters actively going right now.
So that each character has its own story that you can play through.
Yeah, every character has its own
Okay.
story.
That
So,
seems
if
about right.
and that's why I upgraded it to a C, because where gameplay, where it's lacking, if you're a fan of Romance of the Three Kingdoms and the actual storytelling, you'll get a lot out of powering through the game.
You're going to buy the game regardless. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So it's kind of like
that does give me more incentive to play it.
Pick your poison when you're playing it. Do you really want the strong gameplay? Like, yeah, I definitely do. But since I can't get it right now, rather than sit there and complain about it, I'm a fan of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. So now it's just, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna play through these stories and see these different point of views and just enjoy the storytelling. I wish I could turn on the Chinese language for them speaking.
Right.
Because Lord knows I'm tired of hearing the voices. Because the voiceovers are terrible.
Recently, Lord Lu Bu has begun to express some dissatisfaction with Lord Dongzhuo. Matters very nearly came to a head just the other day.
Diao-chan, I believe it is time to use my secret weapon. That, of course, is you, my dear.
I feel like they were just dialing it in because when you're listening to it, yeah, they've been bad before in the past, but in the previous games, it seemed like there was some work put into it.
You know what told me that the voiceovers were going to be bad before I even turned it on?
How?
Because my copy of the game says Dynasty Warriors 9 English.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, not just Dynasty Warriors 9, it says Dynasty Warriors 9 English.
Is that why there was like no press at all about this game coming out? It's just kind of a little
It was
fun.
not meant to be. Someone pressured Koei and W-Force into making this game English. I want to know who has the naked pictures of somebody's wife or something like that.
Like, you're gonna make this game. This is gonna happen.
So I just want to talk real quick because you said the gameplay was lacking, but is the fighting really any different from how it's been in past?
No, when I say the gameplay is lacking, it's more or less because they made it open world. So rather than getting battle cutscene, you actually have to travel on horseback to every single battle. And there's like nothing in between.
Right. I just wanted to get that out there because I think that's a very important point for someone listening.
Actual combat.
Yeah.
Actual combat is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's just a matter that in between, when you're not in a battle or you're on your way to a battle, there's like not enough in between from that travel.
Okay.
I feel like they set you up sometimes because when I was playing my first time, you do go from one place to another, and sometimes you'll see something to pick stuff up, and you'll run from the path that you're supposed to do. And at one point in time, I did end up fighting like 7 bears with my one character, and I had to kill all those bears. And the BS thing that happened was there was another incoming army that was working with the bears to beat me. And I kind of wish that I had like a small army of myself to have with me. I mean, do you get a small army, or is it always just you?
No, at some points you will get a small army. It just depends on where you're at in the story. Like, if you play as Cao Cao, and that's right, guys, his name is Cao Cao, not Cao.
Well, yeah,
Cao Cao?
I was playing with Cao Cao.
Not Cao Cao or his son Cao
Cao.
At certain points, Cao Cao will have Xiahou Huan and Xiahou Dun with him.
Yeah.
So there are points where you have people with you, and when main worthy officers aren't with you, you'll have actual a little assault team with you. In later battles in the game, early on, when you're just doing Hulao Gate and Yellow Turban Rebellion, you don't really have much of an army because story-wise, no one of the Three Kingdoms had much of an army until after Hulao Gate.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's after.
That's
what Yuan Shao.
Yeah, after the battle, Yuan Shao and Yuan Shu, between those two.
Mm-hmm.
That's when people started getting their land and building up their armies.
Well, yeah, because if I remember correctly, Yuan Shao was the holder of the Imperial Decree, wasn't he? Or the Mandate of Heaven, rather?
Yuan Shu had it after Sun Jian took it.
Okay. But yeah, so he had the Imperial Army at his disposal, and then after all that happens, I'm assuming that it dispersed and people started recruiting and gaining land and stuff like that.
Yeah, people were saying we're going to go back and take over my homeland over here and gain support and build their armies, and that's when they really start to gain armies. So they're really taking you through the actual history of these characters prior to building an army.
So my main thing I was trying to get to was, so when you get to that point, you'll actually have an army with you when you go from one point to another.
You'll have a small group of soldiers with you, yeah.
That's good to know.
'Cause
Okay.
When I was Lu Bu, I was traveling with Lu Bu's daughter and a couple of other people as well. And I had like a small little barrage of people with me.
Gotcha. Okay, so then we're going to leave this section now. I guess, did you haven't played the game at all yet? At all?
No,
You've just seen?
I've seen stuff online and
Okay.
Stuff like that.
I mean, from what little...
I just wanted to make that distinction for anyone who's listening to this and is on the fence about potentially buying the game, that
Right.
the combat is exactly the way it's been in previous iterations of Dynasty Warriors. And that when we say that certain areas of the gameplay are lacking, it's that there's not enough open world content to actually fill the open world that they've created. Because that's a very important distinction, I feel.
Okay. Well then, with that said, like I said before, I've only played an hour of it. I was excited for this game. I was a little disappointed in I guess me having to go to my battles and going all over the place and trying to find out my path. And once I figured out what I was doing in the game, it was a lot of me traveling from point A to point B before I could fast travel to where I needed to be.
They have fishing now, Kevin.
Yeah, they do have fishing now, and they have hunting and all this other stuff.
And they have rest house.
And it's cool.
Yeah, you can buy like a rest house and have
Right.
officers come over and hang out with you. It's
During a war or just in
That's
general?
right. There's a war going down in Chibi. Let's hang out in Chigaleong's Wind House.
like if your son's son, you get like your own little safe house or whatever. You can write letters from your safe house to officers that you are acquainted with, and they can come over. And I guess whatever, you can build like an affinity with them. And I guess they're supposed to like help you in certain battles
Oh, that's kind of cool.
and stuff like that. Like you can have Shinso's wife come over. And you have like lounge clothes that you can put on. But you can have them come over. So you can have like a little party at your safe house. And the weapon crafting is actually pretty cool, because the materials that you can buy scrolls to make your higher level weapons.
Right.
Oh, cool.
Find the materials, buy the scrolls, and once you have enough scrolls and the materials, you can build like, your second, third, fourth, and fifth weapon.
Nice.
Good stuff. Oh, well...
So there's plenty good about the game. It's just that travel. Whew.
At least they added fast travel.
They did, and they do have auto run with your horse. So you just press a button and your horse will just take you to wherever. But you still have to make it go left and right, or else your horse will just run into a wall.
Right.
I'm
keep
just
running
picturing
into a
horses running off of waterfalls now.
So then overall, you said you'd give this game a C.
Yeah, I'd give it a C.
Okay. All right. So that's a solid. Not disappointed. If you're a Dynasty Warriors fan, then you're gonna buy the game
You'll
regardless.
probably get more mileage out of it.
You're gonna like the fact that you can jump on houses and throw hooks up and to climb up on crap, and you can swim. Could you swim with your horse in the original ones?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that was kind of cool that you could swim with your horse in this one. So overall, I mean, I don't think I've played it enough to actually give it a rating. You say a C, so I'm taking your word for it because I'm still going to continue playing the game.
Same here.
Get that army going. So then we'll go into our last part, which is our final thoughts / rant. Does anyone have anything?
No,
anything at all?
I don't have any gross food stories.
That's
this
fine.
time.
Okay, how
I
about
do
you,
have-
CJ?
I do have something.
Yeah,
Oh, I
okay.
have something
All right.
too,
Oh.
if we still have time.
What, you both have something?
Yeah, mine's super quick.
All right, fine. Well, okay, Andy, you go. No, let Andy go first. Then.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So we just put out the episode about, like, I guess a week will have passed before this one airs.
Right.
We need to talk about how our worst nightmare is coming true, and that we are in fact getting Brawly and Bardock in Dragon Ball FighterZ.
The one that just dropped. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because we just had an episode about this.
Right.
It's probably going to have been out for like a week by the time.
By the time this one comes out,
this one
it'll be
comes
like a
out.
week and a half or so.
We were sitting there talking about how that's like our worst nightmare, is for all the characters that are on that list actually end up in the game.
But
And
we
here's
all
what I
knew
wanna point out.
that Brawly and
No,
Bardock were going to be
but
there though.
Here's what I want to point out, and here's why this is a bad sign. Brawly and Bardock, we assumed, yes, they are in fact going to make it into the game. But Brawly and Bardock were also the first two characters on the leaked character list. And they were the first two that were revealed as the new characters. Which means there's a pretty strong correlation and possibility that list is going to be 100% accurate. Which means, cool, by the time this is over, a third of the playable characters are going to be Goku, Vegeta, or some combination thereof. and I'm including Bardock as part of Goku because he's just angry Goku. I'm not even shitting you. I counted 9 out of the 30 playable characters
Or Goku?
will be Goku, Vegeta, or some combination thereof. And like I said, I'm including Bardock as a Goku character. You'll have Bardock, regular Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, Goku Blue, Goku Black, Vegeta, Super Saiyan Vegeta, Vegeta Blue, and Vegito. 9 characters out of 30 playable characters. I get it. They're the 2 most important characters in the series. Do we need to have a third of the playable characters be Goku and
I know
Vegeta?
when I talked to you this morning, you were very livid about it before I went to work, and you were so angry, and I'm just like, yo, CJ kind of...
too. And the worst part is I heard rumors that Brawly is going to be one of those OP spam characters. That is going to piss off people if you play them online.
All right. Well, okay, we're going to leave that part. He's done that part of his rant. Yes, we've talked about it. Okay, we'll move on. All right, CJ, what was your rant?
My rant, CJ's rant is now how Brawly is a terrible character. No.
And to echo Andy, no, I'm just kidding. But, I had a conversation before this broadcast with a friend of mine, and they were upset. They just saw Thor Ragnarok for the first time, and they thought it was like the worst movie ever. First of all, I don't know where he gets that from, because there was Thor: The Dark World and there was Iron Man 3. But anyway,
right.
Can't act like those don't exist. I want to tell people something. You can have the DC universe where they try to make every movie a blockbuster, but they lose you on continuity and they fall on their face. Or you can have something like Marvel, where not every movie is going to be A+, but every movie is a genuine plug into the overall story, getting you from point A to point B. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok was not the best movie of all time. I give you that. But you need a way to explain off where Thor and Hulk are during Civil War. And there was a lot of slapstick humor in it, but it told a strong story in the way of where they're at and where they're going to end up. And if you think about it, Thor's sister could act as 2 characters because Thanos' main reason for wanting the Infinity Gauntlet and destruction is for the love of his life, death. And Thor's sister is the goddess of death. So she could in fact play 2 parts in the Marvel Universe, because she's not confirmed dead in Thor Ragnarok. So instead of trying to criticize every single Marvel movie because you want the Black Panther every single time you see a Marvel movie, just trust the process, take the movies for what they are, they're getting you from point A to point B, and shut the fuck up and enjoy. Because they already have your money, so what are you going to do now?
Okay, there's, you know what? I'm not gonna move on with this. I'm just going to take it at that. And
that's right.
Yeah,
that's our closing statement. No, that's
no.
Shut the fuck up and enjoy.
No.
They already have your money.
Ending lines. All right, closing lines, people. All right, Andy, any closing lines?
Shut the fuck up and enjoy. They already have your money.
CJ?
Ditto.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, that's a good last line, Kevin.
That's not a last line. No, that's not my last line.